A reading from the Book of Wisdom. Hear, O kings, and understand. Learn, you magistrates of the earth's expanse. Hearken, you who are in power over the multitude, and lord it over throngs of peoples. Because authority was given you by the Lord, and sovereignty by the Most High, who shall probe your works and scrutinize your counsels? Because though you were ministers of his kingdom, you judged not rightly, and did not keep the law, nor walk according to the will of God, terribly and swiftly shall he come against you. Because judgment is stern for the exalted, for the lowly may be pardoned out of mercy, but the mighty shall be mightily put to the test. For the Lord of all shows no partiality, nor does he fear greatness, because he himself made the great as well as the small, and he provides for all alike. But for those in power, a rigorous scrutiny impends. To you, therefore, O princes, are my words addressed, that you may learn wisdom and that you may not sin. For those who keep the holy precepts hallowed shall be found holy, and those learned in them will have ready a response. Desire therefore my words, long for them, and you shall be instructed. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Responsorial Psalm. Rise up, O God, bring judgment to the earth.
Rise up, O God, bring judgment to the earth.
Defend the lowly and the fatherless. Render justice to the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the lowly and the poor. From the hand of the wicked, deliver them. Rise up, O God, bring justice to the earth. I said, you are gods, all of you sons of the Most High. Yet like men you shall die and fall like any prince.
Rise up, O God, bring justice to the earth. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voice, saying, Jesus, Master, have pity on us. And when he saw them, he said, Go, show yourselves to the priests. As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice, and he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you. The Gospel of the Lord. In the days of Israel, the land was effectively a theocracy. Okay, the king and the high priest, the temple leaders were expected to be on the same page, working together, and very often people who would be regarded, roughly speaking, as Secretary of State might also be regarded as prophets. For example, Isaiah, okay, a consultant, if you like, to King Hezekiah. So there are circumstances about the structure of the political and religious life of Israel that don't really quite apply to us in the United States in the same kind of way. So if we are going to be taking the words of the Book of Wisdom seriously, then we can't really be paying much attention to the opening, "Hear, O kings, and understand. Learn, you magistrates of the earth's expanse," and really apply it to something like the President or the Supreme Court or the Congress or anything like that, because it doesn't work that way. So instead, we have to make the accommodation for within the church itself and listen to what is being said through the words of the Book of Wisdom here to the church hierarchy, which means Pope, cardinals, bishops, priests. Okay? We're the ones that are being charged here. You're not doing anything correctly. The lowly may be pardoned out of mercy, but the mighty shall be mightily put to the test. Not mighty in power, mighty in position. Positions of leadership, trust, authority, whatever you'd like to call them. In other words, the more you stand up here, the harsher the judgment ought to be. And that's where we take the lesson here. So that the reading today really doesn't talk about people in general so much as the people who wind up being in any kind of position of leadership. Take yourself seriously and make sure that the Lord is the center of everything that you do. So it's a warning for me rather than for a lot of you. The alternative, because God shows no partiality, but nevertheless will in fact show mercy to those who are small. This is a beautiful thing for us on the feast of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini, the first naturalized American citizen declared a saint. Why did she come to the United States? Well, actually, Pope Leo XIII sent her with her sisters to become a body that would work for the immigrants, work with the immigrants. The canonization speech, which was part of the Office of Readings this morning, talked about how there was a great danger because of drifting and whatnot in the United States, that all these Italian immigrants especially might lose their way, quit practicing the Christian virtues, fall away from the Catholic faith. And her motivation then in being sent here was, let's see what we can do to help. Can we visit those in prison and correct them? Can we build orphanages? Can we build hospitals? And so her mission, in many ways, very much similar to the Daughters of Charity, the same spirit, to try to be of service to the poor. Now, the tragedy to me of Mother Cabrini is, of course, having died in Chicago and has got a very, very close relationship to that city. Nevertheless, one of the worst housing developments, most crime-ridden housing developments in the United States was named after her, Cabrini Green. So, as one person wrote, Mother, I just don't think your reputation was burnished too much by that one. But nevertheless, Mother Cabrini dedicated her life to the service of the poor, and there's so many ways in which we have the opportunity to make service to others a part of our day. So let's ask the Lord to keep our eyes, the eyes of our heart, open to those kinds of needs and to be responsive as Mother Cabrini was. Let us stand and pray.